Yes everyone, what's going on? My name is Howson. This is this week's Perfect 10 video, sponsored by the guys over at The Sportsman and Perfect 10. And like I've been saying to you now for a few weeks, someone is going to win 10 grand simply for guessing home win, away win or a draw. Well, somebody won 10 grand. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, and we're going to look at what my picks are. Let's talk about what this week's topic is going to be, and that is the Saudi Arabian takeover at Manchester United. Now, before I even get into that, now, I'll give you what I believe and some of the things that I'm hearing is happening with Jose Mourinho and his possible replacement in Zinedine Zidane over on Patreon. That went out today, so you can go and get that right now over on Patreon. And there's a couple of little tidbits that have been going on in there all week. My Patreon group exists to support this channel and to pay for the studio and everything that we've got. So if you are enjoying the content, think of it as buying me a drink for putting the content out. It's less than £1 a week, and you get vlogs, you get your own dedicated Patreon podcast, and we've got some awesome match content and chat and group and all sorts of stuff like that. It's well worth checking it out. Link is in the description below. Right, before we get into all the rest of the Perfect 10 stuff, here's what we're here for. Manchester United takeover with the Saudi Arabian government, the royal family, and etc. So reports emerged saying that we're being bought out, that they're looking for investment, could be a partnership, and the Saudi Arabians are going to be buying the Glazers out or doing something along those lines. The problem is, there is not one confirmation, not one statement of truth in any of the reports that I've seen. You can't move online for all these reports at the moment. They're everywhere. Every YouTube channel, every United channel is talking about them. There's a million tweets, there's a million opinions. Everyone's getting involved on all these different Facebook groups and things like that and saying, here's why we should have them, here's why we shouldn't have them. And there's a lot of people saying that we shouldn't have them. And you can get into all of the things that's going on with the way the Abu Dhabi group runs Manchester City and uses them as a nice friendly PR face. You look at what the Qataris are doing with PSG and you go, this makes sense. Saudi Arabia, they get involved with Manchester United, and that's the now friendly, PR friendly face of Saudi Arabia. Look at all the good they're doing with Manchester United. These guys can't be bad on all that kind of caper as well, can they? The problem that we've got with this particular report is that the genesis of these reports is the Daily Star. Now, when I've drilled down into finding out what's going on with this, because I ask all the usual people, and I'm like, what do you know what's going on? What do you think what's going on? I've hit up a couple of really respected journalists. I've asked for people inside the club, and there was nothing that I believed anyone. There was a couple of people saying different things, but nothing that I believed. Nothing that I was like, yeah, this feels right. So as I drilled down into the reports to try and find out who started this, where did it come from, I'm looking at the Daily Star. And the Daily Star is, their initial article has got so little substance in it. It's absolutely nothing. It's almost like someone tweeted and they was like, cool. And then some people did actually tweet. And the Daily Star then started reporting on people that was tweeting. Manchester United fans are excited. Manchester United fans demand the Glazers sell. And then they started twisting it a little bit and saying, Glazers are flying out to Saudi Arabia amid talks of a takeover, and you go, whoa, that's some serious shit, man. When one of the owners is flying out to the place that's meant to be buying you, I got to take notice of this, haven't I? Right, I'll tell you why they flew out there. They was flying out there because, let me find it, I've got it written down in my notes. One of the Glazers is due to give a talk at the Future Investment Initiative Conference. That's why he's flying to Saudi Arabia. United do have an existing partnership with a Saudi Arabian telecoms group, and that's something that we've had for a few years. There is no evidence to suggest that there's any sort of royal family, Saudi Arabian, even if it's just some random rich Saudi guy buying Manchester United. Now, the Glazers have got a really weird ownership structure. They leveraged a load of debt on Manchester United to buy the club in the first place. And in doing so, they made Manchester United in debt. The Glazers haven't put a penny in. They've siphoned off nearly £1.5 billion in the time that you've seen Manchester City's owners invest over £1 billion and whatever they've done over there at PSG as well. And Roman Abramovich putting almost £1 billion as well at Chelsea. £1 billion has left the club. £1.5 billion nearly has left the club. The Glazers raised money recently by giving out some B-level shares. Shares that aren't really full shares in the club, and shares that don't represent any sort of real ownership rights. You get no voting rights, you get no say on the board or the running of the club. It was literally just a, here's how we're going to raise some funds, give people pretend shares in Manchester United. Now, those shares took a massive upward spike on the back of the rumoured Saudi Arabian takeover. So you're not going to see Manchester United quickly coming out there and saying, oh, there's nothing in this. Because technically they're literally making money on the back of those rumours being around. Now, the Saudi Arabian government and the Saudi Arabian royal family and all of their little press and reporters, they're not going to come out and deny it either. Because all of the talk of Saudi Arabia taking over Manchester United is detracting from the fact that a journalist that defected from Saudi Arabia was tortured and murdered in a Turkish consulate very recently. Because that is the news that's going on with Saudi Arabia at the moment. So Manchester United takeover that isn't going to happen is a welcome distraction for everybody involved. Which means that everybody involved is all playing a little game with Manchester United at the centre of it, and we're not going to get bought. Now, the problem why this is such a sexy rumour and so many people have jumped on it and got involved is because we want it to be true, or some parts of it want it to be true. We'd love Manchester United to be bought out by an owner with bottomless pits of money like we've seen with Manchester City and PSG. Take nothing plastic clubs and make them big contenders in Europe. What could you have done if that had happened with Manchester United in the mid-2000s? What greatness could we have gone on to achieve? What greatness could we achieve now if we had an owner that wanted excellence and was prepared to put his hand in his pocket to do that? The reason why these rumours are so sexy and the reason why these rumours take hold is because people want them to be true, exactly the same as transfer rumours when you see us linked with Neymar or Ronaldo and whoever. Doesn't mean that they're true because you want them to be true. All these clowns that pretend to be agents and pretend to be freelance journalists with no names that don't really write for anybody, them guys are fanning the fuel to try and get in the mix and tell you what's happening here, there and everywhere at the club on the basis of no facts whatsoever. And it's well frustrating. I would love an owner at Manchester United that cared half as much as all the people that stand by him in the Stretford End. I would love a fan-owned structure the way that we see it going down in Germany, where the fans can have a real say in it. But I have no idea who's got the sort of cash that needs to be buying a massively inflated price of Manchester United at like $4 or $5 billion. The guy that could put $4 or $5 billion on the table and risk it and gamble it and say, do you know what? I'm a Manchester United fan, or even I'm just a football fan, and I'm going to give this club back to the fans and have a democratically elected board and a democratically elected president that's going to look after it and do things right for the fans of this club the way we see it go down in Germany. That guy would be an absolute saint. But I don't think that guy exists. And that's the problem that we've got. Is you're not talking about buying a non-league club. A couple of million. Plenty of people that have got a couple of million. There's plenty of ex-players with a couple of million. You're talking about 5 billion. That's an obscene amount of cash. Obscene amount of cash. There's not many guys that are walking around with that kind of change. I think the most hopeful thing that we could hope for as a United fan is that we are taken over by one of these tech giants, Apple. Maybe they see United as a way to pave the way through to on-demand TV through Apple TV or through some sort of app on your phone. Maybe Amazon. Maybe Amazon's looking at getting Premier League rights on Amazon Prime and they go, do you know what? It'd be pretty useful if we own somebody like Manchester United to really push home that sort of thing. They're the only sort of people that I can see really having the sort of cash around to afford Manchester United and get these Glazers off our back. Because you don't need to invest into Manchester United if you own them. You just have to let them run. People talk about Ed Woodward's amazing brilliance in bringing in deals. It's fucking Manchester United. There will be queues of people wanting to sponsor everything from our toilet water to our grass. Why have we not got a grass sponsor, Ed? If you was a fucking good negotiator, you would have already had a grass seed sponsor by now. It's fucking easy. How much grass is there at Old Trafford and Carrington? No, we've got a couple of noodle sponsors, a bit of a shirt sleeve sponsor, but so have Everton. You know what I mean? What genius is there in any of this marketing that the Glazers have done? It took you 10 years to get a YouTube channel. There are better owners out there. Potentially. But it won't be the Saudis. I'm not even getting into the political reasons why it won't be the Saudis either. Anyway, that's enough negativity for just now. Let's get into the perfect 10 and let's see if somebody can win £10,000 this weekend, exactly like we saw last weekend. And do you know what? It was a guy called Mark Groves who got all 10 right last weekend, and he correctly guessed how many goals was going to be scored as well in the tiebreaker. Most I've had, I think, is 7, so I'm a bit of a way off it, but we're going to have it this weekend, and you guys can come and join me as well. The link is in the description. Come and join my league. If you join my league as well, at the end of November, which is now, what, 2 weeks away, probably 2 weekends left for that, I'm going to be giving a United shirt away to whoever tops my league. So come and join my individual league. If you get the most, then you could be winning a Manchester United shirt. But we're going to go straight in this Perfect 10. It's free to play, and we are going to get in the mixer with it for this weekend. You've got until 3 o'clock on Saturday to join, so make sure you get it in the mix. First game up is Cardiff against Fulham. That's an absolute nightmare. I'm going with Fulham in this one. Newcastle versus Brighton. Do you know what? Newcastle haven't got a win so far, but I reckon their performance at Old Trafford last weekend has given them just a little teensy-weensy bit of hope. Hull and Preston. Hull have done all right for me so far in this, so I'm sticking with Hull. We're going with Hull on that one. QPR versus Ipswich. I'm going Ipswich. How about that? Nottingham Forest versus Norwich. Norwich have let me down a few times. I'm going with a draw on that one. Millwall seems to be in this every single week as well. I'm going to go with a draw on that one as well. Wigan versus West Brom. I'm going with an away win in that one. Bradford versus Rochdale. Home advantage for that one. Plymouth, they always seem to be on this one as well. I think they always let me down. I'm going with a draw in that one. And then Derby to round it out. Tiebreaker, how many goals is there going to be in this one? I'm going to say 27 goals in total for that one. And that is my selection done for this weekend. If you would like to come and join us in the Perfect 10, you can win £10,000. Listen, it's completely free to enter. You've literally got nothing to lose, so go and click the button, come and get in my league, and you've got half a chance of winning Manchester United shirt from this season in a couple of weeks, just for topping the group. That's all you've got to do. That's all you've got to do. So come and have a go. Let me know what you get on, and screenshot me over your picks for this week as well. See if anyone's better than me. I'll retweet all those that hit me up. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to come and get on the Perfect 10 hype. We're giving away shirts, and you could win 10 grand. It's legit, man. Someone won it last weekend. Someone is going to win 10 grand again this season. I just know it. I hope it's one of you guys. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Preview coming out tomorrow, and also check out the Patreon link in the description as well if you want to know what's going on with Zidane and Jose. I'll see you in the next one.